Hey guys, so I actually just had a phone consultation with Dr. McLean. For those of you that don't know, he is a plastic surgeon in Ontario, and I'm pretty much gonna go to him for top surgery. Obviously I'd love to go to Garamoni, but I wouldn't feel comfortable going all the way to Florida to have surgery. I don't know. So I had my phone consultation today, and it went very, very well. He's so nice, it's ridiculous. I am still kind of trying to process all the things that I talked about with him, because in my mind, I was so convinced that I was not going to be able to get top surgery. And that's because 2 years ago, I had a breast reduction, and at the time I wasn't, I didn't even know what transgender was, let's put it that way. I had no idea that I would one day identify that way or be interested in top surgery at all. The reduction was like a physical thing. I was very large and played a lot of sports, and it was just becoming unbearable. The pain level was unbearable. So that surgery, while I healed really well and the results were, good for what it was, I had a lot of complications. I came out of surgery, and they realized quickly after that that there was something wrong with the clotting factor in my blood, and I was pretty much like bleeding heavily from the wounds, from the incisions. So they had to ambulance me to a bigger hospital so that they could take care of it, and to get a lot of blood transfusions because I'd lost a ton of blood, and I reacted to something in the blood that they had given me. They still don't know if it was something in the blood or if it was perhaps the morphine that I had been given or something else. There's no way of telling that. So I had an allergic reaction on top of being already in the hospital for this blood clotting problem. So they ended up giving me just pure platelets instead of blood, fully formed blood, and they had to give me pure potassium. And being injected with potassium is not fun. It feels like there's fire crawling through your veins, pretty much. So all in all, that was not a pleasant experience. I obviously went to go get tested for a weird like autoimmune disease or something, I don't know. I went to a blood specialist after the surgery, and she could not find anything. She said that there were absolutely no abnormalities in my blood, that it was just this weird thing that happens with surgery sometimes, and there was no way of predicting it or saying if it would happen again or really knowing what the cause is. So while that made me feel better at the time, because I, in my head, had never thought I would have another surgery, when I started considering top surgery, I all of a sudden became very aware of how terrified I was that not only this was going to happen again, but that no surgeon would operate on me because of it. So I called McLean with every intention, or not intention, every thought of being told that I was just not a candidate for surgery, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I have a paper here. I took a bunch of notes and doodled. It looks really weird. I don't know if you can see that. That's apparently how I take notes. So I had like a list of questions on one side, and I wrote down pretty much, I first talked to his assistant, Liz, and she answered a few of my basic questions. I told her about my complications with the surgery 2 years ago, and she seemed pretty confident that they'd be able to take precautions for that at the clinic that the surgery is performed at. So then I talked to McLean himself. So basically, first he asked me to talk about me a little bit. He wanted to know how I identified with respect to gender, why I wanted top surgery, what my basic support was like, those types of questions. Then he asked me some general medical questions about my history, So I told him about the incident with the surgery as well. He also asked me what my feelings towards my breasts were. And I thought that was interesting, because, especially considering he had asked questions about transitioning and gender identity and all that. Because I know that he doesn't require a letter from a therapist to perform surgery, but he was clearly trying to define for himself whether he thought I was making a clear-headed decision about it. So I think that's really cool that he doesn't require a therapist letter, but he just wants to make sure that he's not performing surgeries on people that are good doing it on a whim, you know? So he asked me some general medical stuff, reassured me that things should be fine regarding what happened with my surgery 2 years ago. And then he started talking about the top surgery itself. So he told me that I was going to be doing double incision, that I'd probably have no nipple sensation afterwards, that, you know, there were certain risks involved, which obviously I knew about. I asked him a few questions because I wanted to know why some guys have like a scar like that and then like that, you know, like that doesn't connect in the middle, and other guys, they'll have a scar that meets in the middle. And he said that it's pretty much, if dog earring is going to occur or like a little puckering, that they'll connect the scar to avoid that. But it's the type of thing that he could usually tell by looking at you before the surgery, and but he always has to like say that he can make the decision to do a straight line or two separate scars while he's in surgery. What else? Let's see. I also wanted to ask him, because I've had breast reduction, if the scarring would be any different or if the procedure would be any different, and he said that it's pretty much, they pretty much like cut away the scars from the previous surgery, so it wouldn't really be any different. What else? Yeah, so then he put me back on the phone with Liz. I talked to her about the pricing and the scheduling and how all of that works, and she said that with taxes and everything, it comes to $7,345, and then there's extra because you have to pay for the medication, the pain medication that they give you afterwards. Yeah, so other than that, like, she just told me that you pretty much just call 4 to 6 weeks before you want surgery, book it, and you have top surgery booked. Like, that's a lot more simple than I thought. And like, considering how long it takes to get testosterone and to, you know, change your gender marker and change your name and blah 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 blah, it's ridiculous that surgery's just like done. Like, it's just bam, you know? Yeah, so at this point, I'm looking at my schedule, picking a day, and then calling when I decide. I'm pretty excited. I think that ever since after I got out of surgery 2 years ago, and my surgeon told me what the results looked like and what size I was, ever since that moment, I knew I didn't want this part of me. I mean, I didn't know anything about being trans, but the second he told me that I was the size that I was instantly mad at him for not taking more off. So, I mean, this has been a long time coming, and I think that had I not identified as trans, I might even have done it anyways. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to a museum now, because the freaking humidity in Montreal finally broke, and it's been rainy all day, which you'd think nobody would be grateful for, but it was like 32 feels like 40 all of last week, so binding in that heat is not fun, but now I get to book top surgery, and I hopefully won't have to do that for much longer, so yeah, but I'm probably gonna be late meeting my friends, so I'm gonna go now. If anybody has questions about the consult with McLean, because they're nervous about calling him or anything, just send me a message, write a comment on the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.